And we're live. I'm Cameron Deshnod.
And I'm depressed.
And welcome back to Whatever You Want. How's your depression going, Jason?
It's going great right now. And actually, I'm just going to jump right into it. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
That was kind of loud.
You're screaming.
I am. Okay, that's fine. We'll edit that. So, I don't know if you've noticed, Cameron, but I have my lovely girlfriend here in the podcast. And so, she actually loves podcasts.
Does she now?
She's never listened to ours. She has revealed that she's never listened to ours. But Cameron, she loves this podcast called Call Her Daddy.
True crime?
No, it's called Call Her Daddy. It's the worst podcast I think maybe ever. And it's just funny to me because all they do on the podcast is two girls and they just talk about sex. And
amazing. I mean,
but that's kind of like the thing with like girl comedy. I feel like, you know how Amy Schumer and Sarah Silverman are like the two like famous girl comedians? They just talk about sex. Like they just have to stand up there and say my vagina, and Christina's gonna chuckle. So my thing is that there's always the whole thing where it's like all guys want is sex, and then here's Christina listening to a podcast about sex.
Yeah, well, and I'm gonna throw this out there, right? Amy Schumer, if you're listening to this, I will. And I'm not joking, I will box you.
You would box Amy Schumer?
YouTube, 100% yes.
I think she'd fuck you up.
I
think she'd fuck you up 100%.
Not a chance.
Amy Schumer?
If she wants to prove to me that she's funny, you have to meet me in the ring. That's it. That's all I say to her.
You're popular when you get into a boxing match, I think. Like that's how you know you have the peak of popularity.
That's why I keep threatening to fight everybody. I mean, is that not the point?
No, that is the point.
Nobody really cared about the Paul brothers. All that, like, people cared, but then
they got into the boxing
match. People.
Yeah, that's important.
They did that twice, and now they're in jail. I want to be in jail, Jason.
Well, you will be after doing that. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
So I figured, imagine if there was a podcast with guys who just talked about sex. They would get crucified. Which is why I think that we should talk about sex today on today's podcast.
We should pave the road.
I think today we should be Call Her Daddy. What's like a guy version of it? I don't like Call Her Mommy. I think that's gross.
Yeah,
I think that's gross.
Knew that was the immediate one.
But I thought that was gross. I thought that was really gross, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some guys do. Call her cougar. I don't know.
Well, Christina just said call her Poppy, and I thought that was really gross. So we're just not gonna use any of them.
Yeah, it's just whatever you want, but this time it's about sex. Jason, throw up a new title. I'll draw a new title for us. Throw that up right now.
Okay, I will. So,
also,
question, Cam.
Yeah.
Well, while we're getting into the topic of it, what's your favorite sex?
Oh, oddly enough, I actually talked to somebody about this, like, yesterday, and I gotta say, competitive sex. I was more casual. I gotta be honest with you. I was like, it's too toxic, right? The community around competitive sex. I don't enjoy watching it all that much, but yeah, I got into it. Jason, competitive sex.
I didn't expect that. Can you elaborate on what that is?
Well, I mean, you got the international leaderboards, you got the pros, obviously, they form teams.
So where do you rank?
I was all about the casual, right?
So where do you...
See, I just got into it. I'm at the bottom of the barrel. I got to grow the ranking up, and that's the exciting part, right? Is watching you, like, jump up on those leaderboards, And I'm not saying I'm anywhere near the Ben Shapiro level.
No,
right?
Definitely not.
We're not hitting that WAP yet. But, Jason, I think I can get there.
I think you could too.
How about you?
Just eventually, through years of practice.
Sheer determination and will, and practice. Because I only ever played casual,
So,
yeah,
well, I agree with you. I like kissing men.
Yeah, of course. I know that.
That's it. That's honestly kind of it.
We have kissed before. This can go on the record. Please, if we have somehow more than 10 fans, that 11th fan, draw fan art, I have kissed Jason on the cheek before.
Oh, I can't wait to... So, actually, fun fact about that. I could not wait for if we ever get to the point where there is fan fiction, because Christina actually made fan fiction back in the day, which I thought that's hilarious. She's made fan fiction before, and her excuse is that every girl has made fan fiction, which I don't think is true.
No, dude, I would love to disagree with you. I'm trying to think of like something to call her. I had a girlfriend before. And I've talked to you about her once or twice, I think. maybe I've talked about a couple of people, but the very first one, all right, she wrote fanfic.
Ooh,
and that was before
about what?
Dude, I couldn't tell you because it's before I knew what fanfic was, right? It was years later that now that I have Instagram, we dug up her Instagram, right? And that's when it clicked. I was like, oh, yo, she was writing fan fiction. That's what that was. I'd kept that with me all that time, like genuinely. You know what I mean? I don't remember what she looks like, by the way. Like,
wow.
I had two other people confirm. Yeah, I forgot what she looked like.
But you dated her.
Huh?
Didn't you just say this is your ex-girlfriend?
Yeah.
And you forgot what she looks like?
I told you I played casual back then, Jason.
And now it's a whole different ball game. Right after her. Was it right after her? That's when you started?
Yeah. Well, not right after, but no. So I had other, and people grow. People look different. I was more not paying attention back then, if that makes sense. To like everything, it was like a girlfriend to have. You know what I mean? Like we were.
That makes sense.
I think freshman year of high school, or maybe like the summer of freshman
that makes
year,
sense.
like before. You know. But yeah, that like I didn't remember what she looked like. The fact that she wrote fanfic, but I wasn't sure what it was, carried with me. Like it stayed with me all that time, like until a couple of months ago.
Yeah, but what was it about though?
That's what that was. Dude, I don't even think it was good. It wasn't like. It was bad. I want to say. Like I think it wasn't like Harry Potter or like normal shit that girls do. I want to say it was like Parks and Rec fanfic.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's like, actually disgusting. How do you do it with that?
I don't know.
That's like a red flag, Cameron.
Question.
That's a red flag.
I know. Well, you know what was even better red flag, right? I want to say it was cheesesteaks because that's what you do in Philly. We were getting cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
Right. And I wait in line. And I'm being what I considered at the time a good prepubescent boyfriend. And I get her. This is our first date. Yeah. And we get cheesesteaks. We sit back down, and I was like, yo, like, what's up? Do you not enjoy it? And she goes, oh, well, you know, I'm vegan. I was like,
wait, she bought it?
You let me. We went. Yeah, I bought it. We went all that way, Jason. We went all that way to that point. Okay.
Yeah, and that's like, and in Philly, for those of you who don't know, because I do, on cheesesteaks, there's a long line, a very, very long line to get these cheesesteaks. Which place was it?
I wasn't even like one of the big ones. You know what I mean? Like we weren't downtown, but still, like regardless, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like regardless, there's always a big line.
Yeah. Speaking of like the big ones, do you know what the show The Goldberg is?
Cam, please don't tell me you watched that show.
Oh yeah, I've seen it, dude. It's based in Philly.
Well, I mean, I've actually never watched the show. I just know of it. I feel like it's like an old people show. Is it?
Yeah, a little bit. But honestly, like it's actually pretty funny at certain times. I don't watch it, but I'll watch it every now and again with my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there was a point where there was an episode about like cheesesteaks, right? Because again, based in Philly, and they were yelling back and forth at each other like Pats or Geno's, and then one of the kids, Barry, comes in, and like Barry, Pats or Geno's, and he goes, both Pats and Geno's are great, but they're not the best. And the dad turns to him and he's like, I swear to God, if you say Jim, you're out on the street. And my family just all turned and looked at me.
Oh, because you love gyms.
Yeah. And that's like anybody who's like a diehard Pat or Geno's fan, that's their immediate response to it as well. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I love how that's what you have in Philly because in Staten Island, I took my lovely girlfriend Christina the other day. We went for a nice walk.
You're so bad at this. What
do you mean? Oh, it's fine. So we went for a walk, right? And we walked right over the dump. I don't know if you know this, but Staten Island had the world's largest dump in the world. World's largest dump in the world. And they had the the remnants of 9/11 what do you call that? Victims? Well,
what? Victims? Jason, you don't have cadavers. I'm positive of that.
Oh, well, Christina's
there aren't
saying
cadavers in your dump, Jason.
Cam is saying there's no cadavers in this dump. She said, what's a cadaver? So moving on.
God, I hate both of you. What do we have?
A dead body.
Is it the remains? No, What's the victims? What are cadavers? This is like the nicest thing I think I'm gonna say on podcast. You two are made for each other in the worst.
He said they were made
way.
for each other.
Whom?
What do you mean? Who said that? I'm speaking to one person.
I said who? Like me and you?
Yeah, obviously.
There's one other.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We had victims.
So that's what I was saying. I don't even know what I was talking about. What were we talking about?
You wanted to talk about the debris. Christina, I think I heard in the background. Christina was right. You might have the debris in the dump, and that would be a pretty cool fact. You don't have the cadavers or the victims, which are the dead bodies of the people who died tragically in 9/11, Jason.
They said that by that I mean Christina, said that they moved all of the remains into that dump. The debris and the remains to the dump.
And people went through it.
To look for bones.
So you did mean... Okay. So this is then a wildly different story.
What do you mean?
You were like, well, we have it at the dump, right? And at the dump you would place objects and trash and things.
It was the dump.
And then you're like, yeah, they have the remains, and Christina's like, oh, the debris, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course, you might have moved the rubble there.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, the victims. I'm sorry, that was so out of left field that I thought you were just an idiot.
Oh well, I think it's. I think that's.
No,
what
you might
it
be
is.
right, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you might be right. It just sounded that outlandish to me that I was prepared to insult you over it. And this is why I'm not ranked high on competitive sex.
I think one day you will. So that actually brings us back to the topic of today, sex. I just love it.
You didn't go anywhere with the story.
That was kind of it. That was kind of it. I just thought it was funny how
Jason.
you have you guys have cheesesteaks and everything, and we have dead
cadavers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So, but
moving
that's
on to historical tragedy. Much like the rest of this year was. I actually wanted to loop it back around to the whole girls and sex thing, because there's two males, who have no authority on this, but absolutely, if you ask the government, it's a different story. I'm gonna ask you this first. Do you know what 365 days is? I think that's what it's called.
Oh boy, yeah, I do.
So you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, for our lovely listeners at home, I don't know if that's going to pick up. The recording just started playing. I don't know if it's going to pick up.
It might have, but it's okay.
All right, sorry about that. So, for everybody who doesn't know what that is, it's softcore porn.
Yeah.
That's all it is, guys. And there's apparently, I've had friends who've watched it. It's not a good story.
Really?
Oh yeah, apparently it's not a good story. What it is apparently some dude kidnaps and abuses a woman. The abuse is pretty hardcore, apparently, but the porn itself is very softcore on screen for for 2 hours. And then you have people, what I've seen is mostly females saying it's an amazing movie. And then guys will watch it. And guys who I know are pretty big movie critics, and they'll be like, no, that was trash.
Wait. So that's actually really funny that you bring that up, because Christina is a big 365 Days fan, and the thing, the funny thing about it is that she says that the story is really good. That's her main thing. She said the plot is really good.
Can you, because Fermie's back there.
Yeah, can you? So tell me,
elaborate. What part of the plot really struck a chord with you?
What part of the plot do you like?
It's just a love story.
It's just a love story, she says.
So, Christina, what part of abducted and abused?
I'm gonna tell her right now. So, what part of abducted and abused did you miss about it?
They fell in love.
They fell in love. That's what she likes.
Can you ask her to Google Stockholm Syndrome for me?
Can you Google Stockholm Syndrome for him? No. She said because the cat is leaving. So, in conclusion,
yeah.
Yeah. My mom left for a day, and everybody's just going crazy.
Yeah. Everything's on fire.
Yeah,
the cat's dead.
Yeah.
You've got cadavers everywhere in Staten Island.
And we don't even know what that means.
Girlfriend is obsessed with Stockholm Syndrome. This is oh god.
Isn't that kind of good for me then? Because if she thinks that a story about a girl getting abused and abducted is cute because they fall in love, then I feel like I have a lot of room to mess up.
Let's watch it tonight.
No.
and you're done for.
I feel like I
Jason,
feel like
go ahead, watch it.
I feel like I have. You heard that?
Huh?
You could pick. You heard her say, "Let's
Oh,
watch
dude,
it."
it's all picking up. Yeah, she's gonna be on this podcast.
Oh, okay.
Scrub her from it.
So yeah. So we're not gonna watch it. Number one.
Her head on me. What does that mean? She like hit it really hard.
That's good. That means she likes you. She's marking her territory.
She's marking your territory.
Yeah, Cass likes it. Hey, have you ever
Just
had
like
a cat?
in 365 days.
Yeah. That's kind of concerning. You didn't tell me that they get abused and abducted in it. You just said it's a love story.
Yeah, but it's only for like a minute.
Only for a minute?
Look at that. Look what she leaves out.
Wait, but she said only for a minute.
Okay, so the scene that everybody seems to really like from it, from what I've gathered, is they somehow end up taking a shower, and the girl goes to walk away, and the dude snaps her neck. Like, when I say he grabs her neck and swings her back around, dude, she's dead. And then they forcefully make out. And I'm like, what? It's because I think that's decently far into the movie. She's still getting abused. Like, that was non-consensual.
Well, I mean, love hurts. I think that,
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, I can't defend that.
You want to end on that note?
But again, like, I think that's a good point that you brought up. Only girls like that movie. That's it.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to, like, I'm sure there's a lot of, like, Grace doesn't like the movie. Oh, God damn it, now I'm doing it.
So, well, her argument is that it's made up because it's just a story. None of it is real. Exactly.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it's a good story.
It doesn't mean it's a good story, Christina.
You're gonna like it.
All right. So if I like it, what happens? Can we make
Jason,
a bet? What happens if I like this?
Okay, and you gotta be 100% genuine with your feelings. Okay?
Yeah.
We can't get horny either. That doesn't count as liking it. That's the thing I'm trying to prove.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
If you end up.
If I end up what?
If I end up what? Genuinely like it.
Okay.
Like you you think the story's good. Like you want to come back next podcast and argue with me and force me to watch it so I can go tell you why it's shit. Because I've only seen like select parts of it and that's all I need to really see.
Okay.
Honestly. But if you really want to go down that road, if you like it and I can prove to you that it's stupid, all right?
Okay.
You have to be celibate 2 months.
I'm pretty sure that means not having sex.
And I'm going further. No kissing, no hand holding, the works.
But what happens if I don't like it?
Oh, then you're a normal human being.
Oh, okay. So Cameron said,
I'm not betting on it. It would be Christina's bet. I'm not betting on the fact that you'll. I'm like, you're gonna like this bottom dollar. Like, no, that'd be ridiculous.
Well, question, because we're talking about shows, have you finished Curious George in Spanish yet?
No, we have 5 episodes, I think.
Wait, you've actually been
I'll
keeping.
check that.
So I have a question. Do you just keep it on in the background when you do stuff? Is that what you do?
A little bit.
I was gonna say, there's no way. I feel like that's just the thing you just keep on in the background.
That's just like the biggest waste of time I could ever have.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Spanish next year. Christina's in Italian right now. How is your
really?
Spanish class? It's good. How did your Spanish class end, Cameron?
Okay, well, let's talk about Spanish then, because that is a romance language, and this podcast, it's all about
romance.
We're getting hot and heated. Well, first, I actually want to end the 365-day discussion.
Oh, yeah, of course.
The point that a lot of people came to is like, girls, you know it's okay for those of you that want to watch porn, right? Like...
Yeah, but they don't like to admit it.
Too.
But they don't like to admit it.
Yeah. Well, I've had a couple of friends who are very TMI about it, in all honesty.
Okay.
I won't name them, but
yeah, I don't think you should.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't. But like, that's the worst part is there was an option there. Like, they probably wouldn't care. That's how.
Is it the one I know? Is it the one? It's the one I know. All right.
I think I've talked to you about it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go look, but about the Curious George thing. My Spanish class. You wanna? Because I and a friend of mine, we had 2 extremely different experiences. We'll say, and when I say extremely, I mean if we wrote these down in a report and gave it to you, not only would you think one of us is lying, but then if I showed you the class, you definitely know that one of us was on acid while in that class. And it wasn't me, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so do you want me to tell her then you look for Curious George?
Yeah, I love Curious George. I'm still trying to find I'm going to go onto your thing. I thought it was on Netflix for a hot second, but I just remembered it's on your Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
So to give a rundown of Cam's Spanish class,
yeah,
Cam had an affair with his professor, and her professor is
male, by the way. I don't want people getting the wrong answer.
yeah, male professor, and his professor
mixed.
has been married for how many years?
I want to say like going on 35.
Yeah,
40.
and that's kind of because then it caused a lot of controversy because the other friend who had the other experience where you said it was so different is a registered sex offender.
Yes.
Am I allowed to say that?
So, and then we had no.
So yeah,
You're not.
so that they have
So,
they have two very
Great.
different stories.
Yeah, extremely different stories. Thank you, Jason. Really
You could elaborate.
cool.
You could elaborate on that.
Glad this podcast is yeah. So essentially, well, I'll give you like the broadest, like, how this class went. I once showed this man, and by the way, very nice dude. I showed this man my homework. All right, and everybody hopefully listening to this has done homework to some extent. And it was in like a notebook, so I sectioned it off. Like, night one's homework was on the top, and night two was on the bottom. Okay, and so I was pointing to night two because we passed night one already. I'm like, oh, professor, this is the homework. Here you go. You can look at it. And he looks at it for a second, and he's like, Cameron, this is the homework from the other night. And I look for something like, oh, no, that's the top part. Just look at the bottom part. And he looks at it and he's like, Cameron, you did the wrong night's homework. I'm like, no, if you just read a little further down, it's like 2 spaces from where it sounds like I'm pointing at it now. He's like, hey, we all make mistakes. And he's like leveling with me. And he's like, son, listen, you don't got to be embarrassed. You don't got to try to lie your way out of it. I'm like, I'm not lying. It's right here. It's right here. If you would just read this. And he's like, it's all right. You won't lose points. Just come back with it tomorrow. Not only can I not get over that, I come back in tomorrow and I go to show it to him. And before he can say anything, because I knew he was about to object, I take the notebook away, I rip out the page, and I tear it in half, and I hand him the one section with my notes written on it. And he looks at it and he goes, perfect. But it is kind of ripped, so I'm like, oh my god.
You're gonna leave out that one important section? Like, you're gonna leave out the one most important section?
What, the affair?
Oh yeah, the extra credit affair.
Yeah.
Where he said, Professor Essa, how will I ever get the extra credit and get the A in this class?
Yeah, now that I failed my homework.
Yeah. I can think of something,
that's
Cameron.
Story.
That's actually the beginning to a lot of porn plots.
Of course, but Christina wouldn't know that. She only watches 365 days.
Which, I hear that part is good. But I feel like that's why everybody likes it.
Well, I mean, I hear it's probably not, I'm not the biggest porn person, right?
I've known you've never seen boobs.
I've never seen boobs, by the way. Can we throw that out there?
I feel like that's
this is a podcast about sex. This is probably the best time. People thought I was like joking before. People think I've, messed around or something. To everybody out there who's heard me say that, being genuine, them boobies, never seen them.
Not once.
Don't know what they're like.
No.
I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know. So, it's really just, can we call this the misogynistic podcast?
Yeah, no, we can.
Is that where we're going?
I mean, I think that the whole gender of women is disgusting and icky. Cam?
Yeah.
One day, you're going to feel the touch of a woman, and you're going to understand. No. Well, probably not. But you're going to understand it is very overrated.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that they're not worth it. They're not worth the trouble and the love that they bring. They're not beautiful creatures. They're definitely not equal in every way. Superior in some. They definitely don't have their own original thoughts and creativity, and they definitely can't do anything for society.
I do think that women have rights. I do think
this
that.
Is the end of the podcast.
I do think that. I do think that. I think that.
Women, listen, you guys are great. I'm sure. I've never met one, but I'm sure you're great. I just think, as a lot of people are expressing on this day in the Lord's date, Thursday, August 27th, 2020, as things really rally, America was great back in 1917. That's probably, I'm going to choose that date, 1917.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
Yeah. Did I go back far enough?
I think you did.
I'm not, I got to be real. I know it's been 50 years at Iona, but, yeah, was that hold on, was it 1917, World War I?
Around that time. So you're saying that.
Wait, do they have the right to vote, though? I want to make sure the joke landed, Jason. I really don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Being a woman.
Well, she doesn't know.
When did you guys learn to vote?
Yeah, she definitely does not know. So we're gonna leave that out.
No,
All right, I'm gonna ask her. Christina, when did women get the right to vote?
1950 something.
50 something. She said. Okay, so moving on.
Am I right?
Nah, Christina, not even close.
When did they?
I would assume before the 50s. Let's look it up. Wait, actually, I want to look it up now.
I'm doing it.
All right, no. Okay.
When did women get the right to vote?
Oh well, she knows it's wrong. She just said, "Oh." It wasn't close, was it? Was it in the 20s?
Go on.
It was 1920. It was 1920.
Why did I think 50? I'm so stupid.
That's a whole 30-year difference.
Alright, I wasn't completely off.
But you're a whole woman.
You're
I
all-
wasn't a woman.
It's
in
okay. I mean,
1920.
Jason.
That's true.
When did men get the right to vote?
You won't say
Always.
that,
Oh.
So, but you're saying that America was great in 1917, which is why you think that you want to make America great again. So that leads us to the
Yeah,
question.
well, I would like to see America return to its former glory, of course.
So who are you voting for in the presidential election?
Dude, listen. We said we're not getting political here.
I know
all
we
right?
did. I know
We're
we
gonna
did.
take jabs at both sides, have a little fun. Nothing we say is serious. But I've already told you, okay? I've already told you. Only one of the candidates, and I'm not saying who, their advisor is somebody extremely close to them who has already given them polarizing views and has tried to help them throughout their entire life by turning them to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. All right? Only one of them.
And that is?
Well, I can't say. But I'm also going to say it's the only one that's had a record-breaking album within the past decade. So,
Oh,
I'm
Cameron. Record-breaking album. That album was ranked number 1 on the Rolling Stone list of top 100 albums of the decade.
Cut this out.
the decade.
Of the whole decade.
Jason.
And no, I'm not done. I don't stop there. I just saw that go red. I'm not done there. He has.
I just saw that go red.
You're talking about the political candidate that has 21 Grammy Awards? Him?
Well, I'm not saying if I am or am not talking about that candidate. I'm just saying that if I were to give my vote to a certain candidate, it might just be the one who accused his wife of being a white supremacist and trying to lock him up.
Everybody knows that the movie Get Out was about him. Everybody knows that.
It was Jordan Peele, everyone. That was who I was going for.
Exactly. So, in conclusion, to conclude that, that's why masks are oppressive.
But yeah, I mean, dude, have you seen the microchips they hide in them?
They're turning the frogs gay. They're turning the frogs gay.
I'm kind of.
I love that, man. That's like the pinnacle.
Guys, and just to address our audience for a second, we don't care who you're voting for. You can vote for anybody. Genuinely, well, this is the first time we might ever get serious on this podcast, and probably the last. You can vote for anybody. We really don't care, but you got to be able to laugh about everything, because all of these people are idiots, including us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guy, girl, presidential candidate, poor, gay, straight, everyone. Everyone's really bad at everything. And if we get to laugh at everything, guys, well then we're all having fun while being shitty together.
Cam, that was so cute.
But seriously, the movie wasn't about him, though. We know that, right?
Everybody knows that. I don't think he knows that.
Okay.
I really don't think he knows that.
I think
He's very confused.
Oh, God. This has been a weird podcast. What time are we at, Jason?
We're at 31 minutes, and my cat has returned.
Ooh.
I want to punch
Ooh,
it.
yay, I'm glad.
I want to punch
What's your
it.
cat's name?
Willow.
Don't punch it. Don't punch it, Jason. Don't punch Willow.
I want to punch it.
Don't punch Willow.
It's
Don't
an
punch it.
I don't want to assign it
Don't
a
punch
gender.
it, Willow.
I want to let the cat get the gender
Don't punch it,
itself.
Jason.
I want when Willow knows what gender it is, then that's when we're all gonna be accepting of it. So I just call it for now.
Yeah. They'll tell you.
They'll tell me. We're just gonna name. She's non-binary right now. I just said she.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. You haven't checked, right?
No, I haven't checked yet.
Okay, good. Because that would be rude too. And I've seen that you've assigned her a name, and I'm not a big fan of that.
Why not?
Well, I mean, just if you're gonna let her pick the gender, which she has the right to do, She gets to pick the name.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll steer this conversation in a different direction because the people who come here for the yucks and giggles, they don't want to hear this stuff because it's important. And we don't do important things, Jason. We mess around. So let's talk about a great group. They're called MAP. Do you know what MAP is, Jason?
No, I don't. Explain it.
Well, they've been trying to join LGBTQ plus for a while now. And I gotta ask, before we do anything, are you in support of MAP?
I don't know what it is though.
Well, I mean, do you think they should join? Do you think they should be ostracized? What it's up in the air right now. What's your 2 cents, Jason?
I think that MAP was on a really hot start for a while, but then they haven't released any new albums or songs, and they've kind of cooled off since. They kind of fell off.
They did kind of fall off, Jason. You're right. So MAP stands for Minor Attracted People.
Yeah, they fell off heavy. They really fell off. Wow, they actually really fell off. I kind of nailed that one. Because they were on a hot run. I feel they were on a hot run at the beginning.
Oh, they were killing it. Well, I forget they designed like a flag. The LGBTQ people, because I do kind of agree with them. And let me rationalize my choice before. I don't think there are MAP supporters except for the MAPs themselves.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But like, if there are, and if you think they have a valid claim, I'm not saying that people with like mental illnesses should be like, you know, completely, because that's what it is, right? It's a problem, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who identify as MAP understand they have a problem. I think the reasoning from the LGBTQ plus people is that they're not sick, right? It's their genuine lifestyle choices that aren't hurting anyone. So to lump them in with people battling this mental problem would kind of like derail the whole thing. You see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But going back to MAP.
Well, going back to MAP.
Also, why?
Well, I mean, you know, I think that I don't even know. I don't know, man. I really don't even know. I don't know how to.
The world has gotten to a point where it's like,
yeah.
And that wasn't even 2020, dude. Like, can you believe that?
Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, that's crazy.
Kobe died this year.
Kobe died this year.
Holy shit.
What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
I think that we should normalize drinking and driving.
Yeah, that's how we solve all these problems.
I think that I feel like that should be normalized. I feel like a lot of people want to normalize things, and if there's anything we should normalize, it's drinking and driving.
Dude, can I be 100% serious with you?
Yeah.
I was so worried where you're going with that.
Why? What do you mean?
That could have gone anywhere, man.
That could have gone really anywhere.
Like that. I think we should normalize, and we're just because I brought up MAPs just to see if I could get you to unintentionally support them in their cause, right? Mm-hmm. That was the whole point. And then coming off the heels of that, hot, you're like, I think we should normalize. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
It's just been on my mind. It's just been on my mind.
That's fair. That's 100% fair. I actually had, before you threw everything for a loop earlier by making this the sex podcast, I had like things that I was going to talk about. Because I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I should bring this up on the podcast. Cannot think of anything now.
Well, right now,
the things that I wanted.
It was mainly, we only did a podcast surrounded by sex because girls love to talk about sex, and I'm next to a girl right now, and she's going crazy. Like, she's half naked right now. She's jumping. She's off the walls, and I mean, like, she's basically all of this out. She's begging me for sex, and I'm just like, no, like, get away from me. It's really annoying. That's like, I think the main problem with me is that people just always want to have sex with me. I feel like that just like, it's annoying at times.
I would love to be like, to insult you with that. It's not wrong.
Wait.
It's not wrong. I would love to refute that, but
Cameron, that was probably the nicest thing you've ever said to me. That was really nice of you.
That's your problem.
That is my problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not like it's...
No, it is my problem.
Listen, that's not like a champion thing. It's actually caused you more suffering than anything. And the worst part is, I know you personally, you don't capitalize on it.
No, I just want the feet.
That would make you a terrible person. So, all I can really say is, Jason, that wasn't a compliment. I'm just acknowledging that you have a terrible problem that some men think they would really want, and some women too, but they wouldn't. Because it's bad.
I just want the
and
feet,
annoying.
Cameron. I just want the feet. After this podcast,
Oh,
I'm
you
gonna
a
have
toe sucker?
them in my mouth later.
Oh, dude, please do. And send
Oh,
me
I
a
will.
picture.
I will. I'll have them right now. Yeah.
That's great.
That's
I'm
loud.
really happy for you.
Cam,
That
are
was.
there
You're
any?
gonna have to scrub that too.
Do you want any closing remarks as we've hit 40 minutes?
Yeah. Oh, I would love some closing remarks, Jason. First things first, right? Guys, thank you for trudging through this podcast. I think it was kind of fun. Really weird one though.
This is a strange one.
So, bye guys.
I'm gonna go piss on my girlfriend.